From the Homestead Studios in Santa Clarita, California, this is a Headache Soul production. Welcome to Just the Tip-Sters, America's favorite true crime podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Morgan, and with me today is my handsome and talented co-host, Joshua White Boy Winter Bevan.
White Boy Winter.
It is White Boy Winter, my friend. Talk to Jack Harlow.
Okay. What's the
hashtag White Boy Winter?
White Boy Winter.
It's black chicks going crazy.
Oh, that's the one that you sent
real
me.
Pale.
White Boy Winter.
I'm vanilla, baby. I'll choke you, but I ain't no killer, baby.
Yes.
It's hilarious. If you have a TikTok account, and it's now spread to like Instagram, and there's some sweet little boy. I think his account is named Quick Nickel, and he does. I know. He looks like Harry Potter. A much more handsome Harry Potter. No offense. I'm sorry. But he does, just in the intro to, Lovin' on Me, the, Jack Harlow song, he solves a Rubik's Cube. It's like, boop, 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 boop. He's done.
While making eye contact.
Yeah. He's not looking at the Rubik's Cube. Yeah. And then he, sings, I'm vanilla, baby. I ain't no killer, but I'll choke you, but I ain't no killer, baby. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So black chicks are doing duetting and stitching TikTok videos like, excuse me, sir, I think the white boys in my neighborhood are all broken. When you see a white boy who's like got great rhythm and is a good dancer and solves a Rubik's Cube. Mm-hmm. And while he's got like rings on. I mean, I do have to say the hand work is like, I would not mind having that young man solve my puzzles, whatever my puzzles are. All right. So yeah, he's very sweet, cute kid. And then there's another guy who does like card trick thing, like table magic to the song. It's really funny. So nice. they're saying it's white boy winter. White boy winter. So hey, it's your time, baby.
I'm in.
It's your time.
It's and it is cuffing season. So
cuffing season, rutting.
I actually just found out the that song. I need a big boy. I need that. You don't know the song.
Well, the way you sang it, I don't. Are there any other lyrics?
No, it's cuffing. It's cuffing season. I need a big boy. Give me a big boy. I can't do the.
That's all right.
The tune.
That's okay. I'll find it.
Okay.
Hopefully.
No, I have heard it on the radio and stuff. I found out that it was
the an
official SNL sketch.
Oh, okay.
I did not. I thought it was a for real song, and
that's funny.
And then, apparently it was an SNL video a few years ago.
And you need a
big boy, to warm you up.
Yeah. That seems logical.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm for it.
I'm not. I don't like skinny. Sorry. I don't need to be
no
prejudiced.
Need to apologize to me.
I've always liked big boys. I like big boys, and I cannot lie. You other mothers can deny, but I've always liked. My whole life I've liked big boys. Probably because I was never like little myself, so I always liked big boys. I don't know. I've dated a few thin people, and it's different. It's not, I don't like feeling ribs and shit. I don't know. That's why there's 31 flavors, right? Everybody has something different. How did we get on this? I believe it's your fault.
Yes.
Yeah. It's white boy winter.
It's white boy winter.
And it's cuffing season. Apparently everything is surrounding
get
Joshua.
Yourself a big white boy.
Yeah.
And I'm just, if there's any available.
832-847-7837. Tipster hotline. Yes. And jttipsters@gmail.com. And Josh will answer all requests for White Boy Winter and cuffing season. So
yes, thank you.
I have to tell you, we literally got more messages, emails, whatever from women when I said your nickname was Smoke Cheddar the Ass Getter. So literally more than any other case,
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, we do have a little kind of an update about a case, but before we get to that, our sponsor today, and I'm sure they're like, wow, I wish we weren't sponsoring this bullshit, is Graveline. Graveline Tours at graveline.rip. I've had lovely conversations with Adam this week. If you could keep him in your thoughts, he's having some health issues and he's trying to work it out. And get some information. Yeah, he's not feeling great.
Mm-hmm.
Tummy troubles. And if you go to graveline.rip and in the promo code area put Tipster40, you get a nice healthy discount of 40% off. And the tours are magnificent. Joshua and I have personally been on 2 of them, and they are adding new ones all the time. So, yeah, good people, good tour, a fun experience. I just love the idea of experiences now. I love gifts, but when you get older, you have everything. And when someone comes up with something, brilliant, like, hey, this thing we're doing, and that's how we fell in love with Graveline. Is Joshua got me Murder Becomes Her for Christmas last year.
Yeah, that was a whole year ago.
You've set the bar high. I don't know what you're going to do. I mean, you did fix my butt this morning, so we're not going to explain that. Yeah. No. I call it my butt. It's actually my hamstring. Right. Exactly. So yeah, that's an experience. And I appreciate you stretching my quad muscle to fix my hamstring. So you can call that my Christmas present.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Totally. Thank you. I won't be returning that. In fact, it was an experience. And I may be asking for a second visit with Dr. Ass Magic, which is also... Joshua's a new nickname.
It's so many nicknames.
It's White Boy Winter, and it's especially good time of year for Dr. Ass Magic.
Dr. Ass Magic.
And his cuffing season.
Oh my God.
So we do have a case update, and we have a long, fascinating case, which we're going to be covering. But before we get to that, just so you understand that Joshua and I live in an area, the mean streets of Santa Clarita, I felt it important. We don't just cover missing persons and homicides. We cover other crime.
Mm-hmm. And
I felt it important to let people know that, it's tough out there in them streets.
Oh boy.
Okay. And Joshua and I live in an area that has made the news. So Dateline, November 2023, from the Signal newspaper, which is our local newspaper. Senior Signal writer Perry Smith reports a 35-year-old Canyon Country man is being charged with 1 count of robbery after being accused of brandishing a black metal, in parentheses, Glock 19 model gun, which turned out to be a BB gun, at a fast food restaurant. And what happened was October 1st, after leaving the location with his order, the accused returned and walked up to the third window of a drive-thru and said he demanded a third hash brown. And the victim checked the suspect's receipt and advised him that he had only paid for 2 hash browns, not a third. And the suspect said, "Don't fuck with me, Jose."
Wow.
I made up a name, looking at the guy's name tag.
Huh.
He then left and returned with the firearm and brandished it at the victim's chest area. So the victim, being in fear for his life and believing the suspect would shoot him, provided the additional hash brown.
Well, yeah.
The cost of a single hash brown is $2.99, according to the store employee that was reached by phone.
Wow.
Sheriff's officials used security footage, tracked the suspect to his home after investigators identified his vehicle, which was registered to the suspect's wife. He was at home, and his vehicle was searched, which led to recovering the air-powered pellet gun on October 18th. He was arrested at 10:33 a.m. and held in custody until October 24th, when he was released on his own recognizance.
Wait. October 1st to the 24th?
No, October 1st to the 18th is when they went to his house.
Oh. They took that long to get there. I got you. Okay.
And then he was held for 6 days, 7 days.
In lockup for hash browns.
Yeah. Prosecutors with the DA's office filed 1 count of Penal Code 2011, the felonious taking of personal property in the possession of another from his person or immediate presence and against his will, accomplished by means of force or fear. He pled not guilty at his October 23rd arraignment. He is expected in court tomorrow, I believe it is, November 29th, to set a future date for a preliminary hearing when evidence is presented to the judge who decides whether there's enough for a trial.
Oh, my God.
So, hash brown robbery.
Oh, boy.
I just wanted you to know
That's breaking news.
It's the mean streets of Santa Clarita.
Oh, my God.
I don't know if you're going to see that covered on Law and Order, SVU.
For a hash brown.
For a hash brown.
Mm-hmm.
Don't fuck with me, Jose.
Don't fuck with me, Jose.
I want a third hash brown. And here is a Glock-looking gun that's an air pellet BB gun for $3. Oh, but look at your receipt, sir. You only bought two.
He came back the third time.
Mm-hmm. With a gun.
Well, oh, man.
How good are those hash browns?
They're good, but not that good.
They're not that good.
I really like the hash browns. But
they're okay. Yeah.
I mean, no.
Yeah.
Not enough for 6 nights in lockup plus whatever else is coming to him.
The DA filing charges.
Yeah.
Do you think there might have been a cocktail involved?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Some or other.
Oh, yeah. Do other things make you like? I mean, I understand like pot gives you the munchies, but very few potheads rob McDonald's for a hash brown, do they?
Yeah, I've most people when they smoke pot, they get less aggressive.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. That's why I thought it might be more of a cocktail.
Yeah,
because that's real erratic. Some people are nice, or some people are
other
nice.
drugs. I don't know.
Right.
There's a lot of other drugs happening in this town, even though.
That's hilarious when you say that. It's tough out in dem streets.
Even though
ain't it white boy winter?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome to Awesome Town. Okay. Yeah. So the other thing, I wanted to say thank you to Tipster Christina, who sent us a lovely email about last week's case. And she who sweetly says that I influenced her. And she didn't need any influence. She is a sweet, amazing, wonderful human who has, listened to the podcast since the beginning. She always reminds me she's my original fangirl, which is funny because I don't have fangirls. But she apparently I have complained or bitched or suggested that people get involved in some way in missing persons or looking for something. And she has taken that to heart. And she has a love of German Shepherds. We share that. And she has adopted a new baby named Mouse.
Oh my gosh.
Maus. And I just showed Joshua the cuteness.
Yeah.
And Mouse is taking her
German.
first training this weekend to be a search and rescue dog.
Oh, amazing.
So I am, it's her seminar this weekend. And she's so excited. And she said, is she not just cute as shit?
Oh,
and
gosh.
Christina, you are right. That baby is beautiful. And you two are going to make a great team. And you didn't need any influence. I didn't influence anything. If you are doing this, it's of your own beautiful big heart. And I'm very proud of you.
Yeah. Great work.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very exciting. It's very exciting that she's doing this. She's going to be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Okay, so this case is soups weird, like super, super, super weird. And I didn't ever want to cover it, but I got a message from a listener and I started looking into it. And I'm like, okay. And honestly, the only reason I didn't want to cover it because it's such a fascinating case is that it's been covered everywhere. So much you can't, and I think it's really sad that I'd never heard of it. But then again, maybe because it's from Connecticut, I can name you 5 podcasts right now that covered it, and they're probably going to, probably did a much better job than. I'm sorry, I'm totally rubbing Joshua's leg under the table. I thought you were the table. I'm like, the table feels so warm through my sock. I'm sorry, I'm sexually harassing you. It starts with the ankle.
It's kind of cool in here. I was enjoying.
Well, you typically don't put your foot through that little bar under the table. We have a very small table where we record.
I think I'm usually off to the side a little
okay.
more. But I moved the mic, so I moved my leg, and
and then I was like, "Wow, that table's so warm." I don't know why. totally sexually harassing Joshua. I apologize. Please don't turn me into HR. Where was I? Oh yeah, murder. So it's such a fascinating case, but it has, like I said, I can name you 5 podcasts that have covered it. It was in a Vanity Fair article, which is in their pithy way, it's called A Murder Most Yale. This woman was a student at Yale. Okay. There's a special, and I don't know what show it is. I can't find the show on A&E. There's been coverage on ID. And there is a man who has really made this a mission. He has a YouTube video. It's an hour and 15 minutes long. And what it was is 5 episodes he put together. And his name is Jeff Mitchell. And it's called The Green Jacket Killer. And you can find it on YouTube for free. He has been involved in this case like from minute one. And I will also give you the caveat that he has a little bit of a personal interest, because one of the people that was for a long time, the only person of interest, and turned out to just be not at all, connected to this, is a childhood friend of his. And this person was an instructor, professor at Yale, and was the victim's advisor.
So he started it to try and clear his friend's name?
He didn't. He started it because it was a fascinating case, and then he found out that, one of the people, it's like, oh my God, it's this guy I've known my whole life. So, every documentary, everything has an agenda.
Sure.
Even because Jeff does not put himself out there as like, hey, I'm a hard-hitting journalist. He's, an intelligent guy, and he has compiled so much information. I will tell you that the hour and 15 minutes is so packed full of information. I will also tell you, as good of a man as Jeff is, his voice is kind of monotone, and it would kind of get to me a little bit. But he and I have had an email exchange because there is evidence. I don't want to come out and say that the New Haven, Connecticut Police Department fucked this royally up the fucking ass with no lubricant. However, I feel that things, mistakes were made. Let's just say that. And things were not followed up. And they are not open or receiving to getting help. And if there's a case that could have used help, it's this one. And Jeff and I have had this conversation, and I said, there is apparently DNA, a couple different sources of it. And why has it not? I don't understand this, but this is the 25th anniversary of this unsolved murder.
Oh, wow.
December 4th.
Okay.
This happened in 1998. So December 4th of this year, probably the day this episode comes out, will be the 25th year that Suzanne Jovin'S case is unsolved.
Wow.
So I mentioned to Jeff Mitchell, hey, there is a lab in Houston, Texas called Othram, and they have solved over 100 cases already this year. They only work with law enforcement, unfortunately. So you and I can't take up a GoFundMe to fund the case, but they do crowdsourcing. Unfortunately, they will only work on a case if it is given to them by law enforcement. And I get it.
Sure.
I totally get it. You're talking about a whole lot of layers, a whole lot of moving parts, people's DNA, their heritage,
Right.
It's something that needs to be kept, as close to the vest as possible when you're dealing with things like this.
Yeah.
So the fact that the New Haven, Connecticut PD will not ask for help is the biggest stumbling block to this case.
Okay.
And I know I've asked for help in the past, but I might ask for help at the end of this, emailing or calling the number and email I have for you and saying, please test. Please consider calling Othram, emailing Othram, check them out. They're, phenomenal reputation. Please consider testing the DNA, and not with your state lab and not with, Yeah. So when I tell you the details of this case, you're going to be like, what? Because it literally is one of the most bizarre things I've ever heard. It's the timeline is so strange. This beautiful girl's life. I mean, a lot of times when someone is extinguished at such a young age, 21, you think, what a loss of life. This girl was really special. And I know we're all special, right? But holy cow, this girl. I mean, she is an American, but her parents had moved to Germany and she was raised in Germany. So she's, speaks German fluently. Her parents are these like brilliant people. They are scientists. They ran the Max Planck Institute for Biophysical Chemistry in Germany. They, lived in this old 14th century Bavarian castle. I mean, she is this brilliant, as beautiful outside as she is inside, and she is brilliant. She picks Yale because it's her mom's alma mater.
Okay.
So her parents are in Germany, working on, biophysical chemistry. And she, starts at Yale. But after her first year, she had double majored in biology and chemistry. She's fluent in English and German. And while at Yale, she picks up like 2 more languages. She plays the cello. She sings in different bands. I mean, she is this like... She's a star child. And when I tell you what her thesis was, her senior thesis, you're going to be like, oh boy. So she, kind of decides after the first year, I don't think I want to major in the sciences. I want to major in like political science and sociology. She becomes, she starts thinking of things a little differently. And she changes to her double major in international relations and political science.
Wow.
And when she, was going to graduate, not long after, she was murdered, she said, I dream of changing global political policy and eradicating terrorist threats.
Wow, right on.
So this is December of 1998. And guess what her senior thesis was about?
Oh, December of 98?
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to do something about the upcoming
Osama
attacks?
bin Laden?
No. Wow.
3 years before the terrorist attack, she devotes her entire senior thesis to Osama bin Laden and eradicating that terrorist threat.
Oh, my God.
And then she's murdered.
Oh, wow.
Now, there are conspiracy theorists who feel that she was, murdered because of her thesis. But I mean, who would know?
Do you want a list?
Okay, the smoking man from the X-Files. Right. No.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, it just kills me because she's like... She's the best of us, is what she is. She's the best of us.
She's a student. She's just some girl in the middle of Connecticut studying and is smart enough to figure out that, okay, this is
3 years before
the threat.
9/11. Yeah.
And I mean, conspiracy theories aside, that shows you how brilliant she is.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And wants to devote her life to global and international communication and eradicating terrorist threats.
Wow.
Yeah. And then when you find out how she's killed, you're going to be like, this is the biggest, most awful waste of a life.
Oh.
Just a terrible... Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I'm getting a little... Okay. So guess what she was doing the night she was killed? She was organizing a pizza making party at a Trinity Lutheran church for a local chapter of Best Buddies, an international organization that brings together students and mentally disabled adults.
Aww.
She volunteered there.
Okay.
She worked at the school cafeteria. I mean, she wasn't like, I'm just going to sit back on my, smarts and my family putting me here and paying for it. She fucking worked. She tutored other students. She was one of the originators of the first German club. I mean, she's like, again, she's the best of us. So she's after the pizza party at the Trinity Lutheran Church. It's about 8:30 p.m. and she stays late to help cleaning up. Now, here's something I found fascinating. I went to we did have dorms, but it was more of a commuter college, and I've never heard of this, but apparently Yale has cars you can borrow.
Oh.
university cars. Maybe because it's more of a walking campus and you use probably much better public transportation, but they had university cars. You could borrow, like you check them out. So she had checked out a station wagon to drive some of the volunteers home after the pizza party. So she, here's how in 1998, we have an almost minute by minute idea of what she did and where she went, and yet she's murdered outside in front of a lot of people in a very upscale part of New Haven, Connecticut, and nobody knows fuck shit about anything.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just, I don't understand. So she is seen by a security guard returning the keys to the university where you can borrow, to the whatever the department is. But a security guard sees her putting the keys through like a after-hour slot.
The slot, okay.
Around 9:22. Her apartment is 2 blocks away from there. And her apartment is over the Yale substation for the police. Like, how much more safe? 2 blocks from home. Yeah. So there are sightings along the way. At 8:50, a few friends pass by her window. She, put the keys through the slot, and she's, walking home. A few friends passed by her window and said, "Hey, do you want to join us at the movies?" And she's like, "Ugh," and that was like at 8:50. And she's like, "Ugh, I have so much schoolwork to do tonight. I'm going to stay in, but thank you. And I'm really, really tired." At 9:02, she logs on to her Yale email account. She tells one of her friends in German class that she's going to leave some books for her in her apartment building lobby. She has to get the books from another friend, but then she's going to leave them in her lobby and she gives her friend, the student she was tutoring, the code to get in, because she was like, "I'm going to, put them here, and it doesn't matter if I'm here or not, or if I'm asleep, you can come into the lobby and get them."
Got it.
So these are like study materials you would use. They're called GRE books, I guess, for your graduate required whatever books.
Okay. For the GRE exam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So she was going to leave them for this friend to pick up. So, we don't know who this friend is. I mean, I guess it's in the email, but here's the thing that's so fascinating to me. The New Haven, Connecticut Police Department has kept so many things close to the vest that I find completely not important details. And then important details that they should have kept close to the vest are out there in the public. It's the strangest case I've ever seen. Okay, so she's still dressed from the pizza party. It's 9:10. She logs off her her Yale email, and she heads out on foot. She runs into this person, and all of these people have been identified, and there are pictures of them. And she runs into her friend, Peter Stein. He is also a classmate. He is an architectural student. And Peter Stein says she didn't mention she had plans to go looking to do anything else. She was just really tired and wanted to go to sleep. Peter Stein said she didn't have a backpack. She was holding a couple of pieces of 8.5 by 11-inch paper, and she was walking at a normal pace. She didn't seem overly excited, or she just was saying, "Hey, I'm tired. I want to go home and go to bed." So it's now 9:25, and she's returned the keys to the car. So between 9:25 and 9:30, she runs into another Yale student, and the student is like, "Yeah, she's just like walking. It doesn't look like anything." She's admiring the holiday lights. So that's between 9:25 and 9:30. 25 minutes later. I mean, she's 1.9 miles from her apartment. At 9:55, a passerby dials 911 and says there's a woman down at the corner of Edge Hill Road and East Rock Road.
Wow.
There's a woman down. Police arrive at 9:58. Suzanne Jovin's feet are in the street. Her body is in something they call the greenway. It's like the area between the street and the sidewalk.
Oh, okay.
Her body's in that, grassy area. She's face down. And she's been stabbed 17 times in the back of the head and the neck, and her throat is slit.
Oh, jeez.
She is fully clothed, still wearing her watch and earrings. There's one crumpled dollar bill in her pocket. Her wallet was in her room, so that wasn't. She was not sexually assaulted, and the item used to stab her was so flimsy and ridiculous, a tip of it broke off in her skull.
Oh, no.
She was still alive when they got to her because the stab wounds, it was the throat slitting that killed her.
Oh, no.
So someone would have to stab her from behind and slit her throat from behind. She's face down. Really odd. No one saw anything. It's like, oh, I heard a woman scream once. One scream. I saw some people arguing, a block away, a man and a woman. Can't identify if it's Suzanne.
Right.
Conspiracy theorists have a whole lot of things they think happened and who did it. So Jeff Mitchell's documentary, The Green Jacket Killer, several witnesses mention a young man with a very square jaw with either red or blonde hair and wearing a distinctive green jacket. So there's a student. I do not know if his real name is Billy, and I know we can find out his name because of what happened, but I don't want to do something to him that was done to this professor. This basically ruined this professor's life. The theory is Billy had told several people, I'm obsessed with the Suzanne Jovin case. And Billy had started taking new psychotropic drugs for mental illness and depression.
Okay.
Sometimes those kind of drugs can alter.
Sure.
Billy had contacted some people in the legal world and insurance world and said, hey, if I make out a will, can I leave things to friends and a niece, like I don't have a wife or kids,
Right.
and the person said, well, yeah, you can make out a will and leave, anything you want, but you're like a young man.
Right.
He did fill out a will. And then the next day ran into traffic.
Okay.
So we're not going to be able to talk to Billy anymore.
No.
Now, I don't know how true this is. Jeff Mitchell said that he was contacted by a psychiatrist whom he vetted, who is a real psychiatrist. And the information he gave him, he did also, find out that that's true. He said he had a patient that he didn't remember the name, and also HIPAA laws would probably keep him from doing that. Although that doesn't apply when someone talks to you about, a violent crime or a murder.
Yeah.
He said his patient told him, I'm obsessed with the Suzanne Jovin case, and I had a dream where I, hurt her. And this psychiatrist contacted Jeff Mitchell, and they had a conversation. And then the psychiatrist said, I'm sorry, I can't get to those files. I have recently joined a new practice. So Jeff Mitchell checked, and he said he did just, move to a new. So that part's not a lie. At first she's like, is this guy just coming up with shit just to insert himself?
Yeah.
Right. So we can't talk to him anymore. Yeah. So we don't know. The original first suspect, what a nightmare, was her advisor. And he was married, and he is also the friend of Jeff Mitchell, the childhood friend. So the original person of interest, this is heartbreaking. His name was leaked by what we can assume is the police
Mhm.
to the New Haven Register. And it's like, hey, this is the prime suspect. It's her thesis advisor, James Vandevelde. That's Vandevelde. And it was like, oh, they're having an affair and he killed her because he's married and doesn't want.
No.
She had intimated to her family, look, he is not a great advisor. He doesn't believe in my thesis and doesn't want to talk to me about it and is blowing me off. And then 3 years later, 9/11. So good job,
Well,
Profess.
yeah, okay.
But yeah, she felt very, like unseen by him. So they're definitely not having an affair.
Yeah, right.
She had a boyfriend. Her boyfriend was on a train coming back from New York at the time of her murder, so he's cleared.
Mhm.
It took a long time for Professor James Vandevelde to be cleared.
What eventually cleared him?
Well, the fact that there was absolutely nothing to tie him to the
Yeah,
case, that it
okay.
was released by the police early, that he was the first and only person of interest. They canceled his classes at Yale and then eventually let him go.
No.
Lost his teaching position. And he isn't like some fly-by-night dude.
Right.
He was, a very I just feel so bad for him. He was a very well, maybe not well liked because of a, sparkling personality, but he, was a terrific professor
Right.
that did not need to be, his whole life to be turned upside down. He does end up filing a lawsuit that took 12 years in court.
Wow.
So a very highly esteemed criminologist said, from a physical evidence point of view, we had absolutely nothing to tie him to the case.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Yeah.
but let's have the police say, he's the only person, Uh-huh.
Man.
Yeah. So poor Professor Vandevelde, says to Yale, look, hire your own private investigators in this case. The police think it's me, and it's not me at all. I can't believe that the excuse they used was like, oh, you know what? The case is bringing a major distraction to students and we're going to have to let you go. I mean, it just fucking ruined his academic career.
Man.
It's so ridiculous. And then he's like pleading with them, look, hire your own private investigator. You want this case solved. It looks bad on you too, but I had nothing to fucking do with this.
Right.
And the thing that's so heartbreaking, there are scrapings from under her nails. There's the tip of the blade, which I will tell you, some of the theories, conspiracy or not, are that it was an architecture student or a drawing student because they think it was like a X-Acto knife.
Oh.
The 17 stab wounds were not that deep.
Okay.
And again, the tip broke off. So that seems like a thin blade.
One of those. Okay.
But to slit someone's throat is the kill wound.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So it's, Peter Stein, the guy she ran into, was an architecture student.
No, okay.
Never heard anything about him being considered a suspect, and maybe he, had something that vetted him from not being one.
Okay.
This green jacket, seen by two different witnesses, someone running like they were running for their life, wearing this distinctive green jacket. Billy, there's pictures of Billy from frat parties wearing a green satin jacket.
Oh, he has a jacket. Okay.
Yeah. Billy doesn't look like the sketch. I'm going to show Joshua the sketch. So there's the sketch. The sketch is extremely distinctive. It's like square jaw, cut cheekbones. Billy was more of a, he wasn't heavy, but he had like a very cherubic face.
Okay.
He wasn't not distinctive, but he wasn't that distinctive. I mean, that is a very distinctive photo, which I will put in the show notes. I'll put the things are starting to show up. I don't know if I mentioned that, but pictures and stuff.
It's working now.
Yeah, sometimes. You know what? I'm just gonna every other time.
Well,
yeah, we're just gonna take it as it comes because the whole alien shit. But so yeah, the police start a task force, and in the meantime, they're being, sued by James Vandeveld, like, you have ruined my life. Oh my God, the whole thing is just absolutely terrible. So there's DNA, um, on her nails, under her nails. There's a Fresca bottle that somebody had, I guess maybe Peter Stein said she was drinking from Fresca. Fresca is like a low calorie grapefruit drink. I don't even know if they still make it. And I bet we're going to get fucking emails.
We're going to get a case.
The Fresca people like, it's the best drink. Mark used to love it. I hate grapefruit flavored anything. But there was only one local little market. I like red grapefruit. Anyway, I'm not a part of the grapefruit haters of America. I just don't like Fresca.
Grapefruit Growers Association.
Yeah, I was going to fucking picket. They're going to be picketing in front of my house. They can get in line behind the guy that, needs an extra hash brown with all the crime in the Santa Clarita Valley. So, there's none of the DNA under her nails, and the DNA on the Fresca. There was a fingerprint on the Fresca bottle. None of that matched James Vandeveld. It's like, just the whole thing is so icky. It's so icky. And the amount that he got in 2013 is not known, not public, but whatever he got, it's not enough.
Yeah. I mean, you have your whole career and life dismantled like that.
Yeah. And you're an esteemed professor at Yale.
Yeah. Be more careful, detective, before you let stuff slip like that.
And then tell the newspaper, hey, you know what? There's one, person of interest, and it's her advisor. And she just dropped off her thesis. He wasn't there. It's late at night. Dropped off her thesis on Osama bin Laden. Maybe he's like, maybe he loves Osama bin Laden or whatever. It's so ridiculous. So I will tell you that the case is now being led by the state attorney general. So the person that was state attorney general in 2007 is James Clark. And he said, no person is a suspect in this crime, and every person is a suspect in this crime. Thanks, Attorney General. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I guess there was, Billy was telling people, I think he was very paranoid, that because he was obsessed with the case, and maybe telling his therapist he had this dream. He had told, I guess, a group of students, like, you know what? I'm going to be arrested for this. I'm going to be arrested for this crime. I know they're coming after me, and then he fills out a will, leaving whatever he has, and then runs into traffic.
Whoa.
Now, what I love is the police report is like, oh, it was an accident. Oh, okay. You accidentally get into the fast lane on foot?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why there are people who are conspiracy theorists about this case, and I get it. But still, I know there are people who have tried to get, records released. It's very odd to me that the way this is handled. They've started task force. If you go on to the Connecticut, .gov website, it's, like one of the first things that comes up. There's this unsolved case. I mean, it's 25 years, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying. I don't want to be terrible. So the next state attorney general said, when people were like, look, we need these, records to be released so, people know what's going on. And she said, disclosure of records would prejudice a prospective prosecution of Suzanne Jovin'S killer. Well, could you release anything? I mean, there's, in 25 years, DNA testing has advanced. I know the FBI was involved. Still, there's there are things that can be done now. There are so many things that can be done now. This looks bad on Yale. It definitely looks bad on the New Haven, Connecticut police department. And I don't want to say you botched it from the beginning, you fucked up from the beginning, and then you just kept making mistakes. But
Right.
there are definitely things that can be done and tested now.
Right.
And the fact that they are so withholding is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous in my mind. And I don't, every 5 years they'll come out and they'll do a press conference. We're looking for anyone who saw this guy. Or I don't know if it's just a show of like, it's a new regime and it's like, hey, we're hard hitting on crime.
Right.
Fucking, this is so, I mean, the amount of time, there's so many things that are going right in this case that could have gone right in this case.
Yeah.
That's the thing that is just killing me here. So there is a $150,000 reward.
Oh, wow.
I know. Two different, one is $100,000, I think, from Yale. One is a $50,000 reward from the police department. I don't know, but I know it's $150,000. It's ridiculous. I mean, and I know that that's not why anyone would want to come forward or give information on a case, but there is a substantial reward. I know that the New Haven Police Department and Yale paid a monetary settlement to James Vandeveld, but it took until 2013, and finally the state attorney general said he is no longer a suspect in the murder.
Jeez.
And he never should have been. And he absolutely never should have been.
Wow.
It was just, I don't know if it was like, hey, let's point a finger at her professor because that's kind of a sexy.
Huh.
Yeah, you might want to have some evidence.
Yeah.
And early on, you knew that the evidence wasn't tied to him.
Man,
it's so upsetting.
No.
Her parents need to know, her friends. I mean, and she had a lot of them. And again, she was the best of us. She was a light. She was a forward thinker, and who knows what she could have done with her beautiful life. Yeah. And something like this is so mindless and ridiculous. And yeah. So if perchance you know of something, if someone said something to you, if you were there at the time, I'm going to ask you to call the state attorney general hotline. They've set up a separate hotline, 866-623-8058. And the state of Connecticut has their own email address for Suzanne's case. It's Jovin, Jovin .case, CASE at CT, the initials for Connecticut.gov. And I'll have that information in the show notes. And I mean, how this has gone 25 years without being solved is beyond remarkably terrible to me. Beyond remarkably terrible to me. And it doesn't even have to be Othram, but I bet you there is a place that could do genetic genealogy testing and find out the fingerprint on the Fresca bottle that isn't hers, the who knows, maybe information from the blade tip, and definitely the scrapings under her nails. There is enough DNA for testing that something can come of this.
Right.
And I really hope it does. And if you have a tip on an unsolved homicide or a missing person, please feel free to call us at 832-TIPSTER. That's 832-847-7837. You can email us at jttipsters@gmail.com. You can find us on all the social media. We have a Facebook page, the JT Tipsters, the podcast Facebook page. We're at Instagram at JT Tipsters Pod, and we're at X or Twitter or whatever the hell it is today at JT Tipsters Pod. We are so grateful to you, beautiful listeners, and more cowbell.
If you would like to support this podcast and get early access and other cool murderous swag, go to patreon.com/justthetipsters.